Here we go. Hi, everyone. Hi, Laura.
Hello.
Welcome.
So nice to be here. So comfy.
I know.
Yeah.
We were just saying how we would just like relax and just stay here and chill, you know?
I promise you, if you start doing breath work with me, I am likely to fall asleep.
We're going to try, in case I'm going to either wake you up or just let you stay there a little bit and just let you enjoy because it's your birthday.
It is my birthday. I'm 46 today. I know.
What?
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank
What
you.
an honor to have you here on your birthday.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Thank you for traveling from Ireland. I know because you're going to an event later.
Yeah,
but
and it doesn't feel like work coming and chatting to you either, so it's nice.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited even before starting. I'm excited because you brought some gadgets for us today that we're going to talk through.
Dude.
We're going to improvise. We haven't really prepared much, but I see
No.
a big red vulva. I see a small red vibrator. And I see-
Which got stopped at Dublin Airport, and the man was very interested because it looks like a little bullet. It looks like a bullet from a gun.
Oh, this one.
So I was going through the security, and my bag was like, you know the way they siphon your bag off.
They're like, wait a
I was like,
minute.
oh feck! I know it's the vibrator because it looks like a bullet. And when he was open, he goes, "Oh, can I just check your bag?" I said, I said, I know which pocket you're going to check. And just to let you know, I'm going to do podcasts. This is for educational purposes only. And he said to me, he goes, what you do in your own spare time is none of my business. Oh, the mortification.
But why are we always so afraid about vibrators as well? I traveled in the past with vibrators in my case, and the shame that we carry, even if we talk about not having shame around sexual things,
I know.
there is still something about us that make us carry the shame still, no?
Do you know what? Now that it's done, I'm like, it was fine. And he reacted well. And I actually think it was kind of a funny moment, you know? But actually at my show the other day, we had a sexologist at the show, and she brought this big neck massager. It's like massive, like I'm telling you, about a foot long for the people that are just listening. Massive, big yoke, and like really thick. So it was originally a Hitachi neck massager. It was as in the 1950s, but then women, being intelligent species, started to see that it had other uses. So now the number one reason why it's sold is as a vibrator, but not to be inserted, just placed on the vulval area. But that was very funny because she came out on stage to like 1,200 women, and she came out with this thing, and everyone was just roaring laughing. So yeah, and she travels to the airport with that and has been stopped with that, and she says she doesn't care.
Yeah. And I was coming back from Italy yesterday on the plane, and I had your book, this wonderful Love Your Vulva book, and I was reading it, and I was in between a guy and a girl, and then basically I was alternating having it up and having it down so that they could read. But then there were some topics like diseases or like, some topics I was like there. And then topics like bleeding and menstruation, I was like, yeah, there you go. So that the guy kept like looking through and then being a bit afraid. And then when he was up, the girl was like kind of like taking photos about Love Your Vulva. Probably she was like, what is that? No, like a bit embarrassed. So I was like, I'm proud. And then I was putting it down, and then some private things up and then some not private things. Because we all have different kind of relationship with all these topics on this book as well, right?
We do, absolutely.
So yeah, travel with educational gadgets is always a ride.
And a good excuse.
Okay, everyone, we are here with Laura Dowling, one of the biggest voices in Ireland and I think in the world about female wellness and well-being and health. You've been, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but you've been a pharmacist for 20 years, but you're much more than that. You've been blending Eastern and Western health. You're a founder of your own brand, Fabu. You are a podcaster as well, best-selling author, and much more. Wow. Welcome, Laura, to the Body Talks.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Thank you. Right. As our listeners probably know, we start with an exercise of breathwork. But before that, we start with a little video description. So for people that can't see us right now, at least you know what we look like, so you can envision the two beauties that are sitting on this
Absolutely,
sofa today.
the two babes.
The two babes. So Laura, would you mind describing yourself?
Yes, so I'm 46 years old and I am about 5'8". I have blonde hair. I'm wearing a nice reddy, pinky purple top that I got in India, so it's lovely patterns on it. Navy trousers, a red belt, pink socks because I love colour, and a pair of white runners with glitter on them. And I'm about a size, I don't know, 12 to 14, depending on the clothes. So yeah, that's
Gorgeous.
me.
Gorgeous.
Brown eyes, white teeth, and a big mouth.
Gorgeous. I love that. Thank you. I also am wearing red, and apparently we are in Chinese New Year period. So it's good that we're both bringing each other luck today and abundance. So, and you got the memo even if there was no memo. So I love that.
know.
So I'm wearing this fluffy vintage. I don't know if it's not a jumper, it's a cardigan.
It looks like a cardigan,
A
yeah.
cardigan,
It's
like a very
beautiful.
fluffy with big shoulder pads. And I'm wearing a denim jumpsuit. I am tall. I'm 5'9", brunette with brown, not with hazel eyes. I am curvy. I have my hair tied in a ponytail. I have quite bright makeup today. I don't know why, but I was wanting to contrast the weather. So I have purple fuchsia blush that goes on my eyes and a red lipstick. There you go. I think you get the gist. We're on a yellow sofa at Mango Studios. Give it up for Mango Studios. And we're ready to start.
Lovely.
Right. Okay, Laura, I'll get you to relax a little bit.
Goodness.
To just sit yourself comfortable and close your eyes. And I invite everyone who is able to do the same today with us to do the same. Take a couple of minutes for yourself. Just leave whatever you're doing unless you are driving or you're doing something that shouldn't be left to its own devices. And I invite you to breathe with us for three breaths. Basically, I will guide you through. So what's going to happen is we inhale for 4 seconds, we stop for 4 seconds, and then we exhale for 8 seconds. And it's going to be 3 times. So let's do it. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath, 2, 3, 4. And exhale very slowly for 8 counts. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, inhale for 4. Hold. And exhale very slowly. You can make also a sound or let out all the air. And last one again. Inhale for 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And exhale for 8 very slowly. Fantastic. And now I ask you to still keep your eyes closed and start connecting with your body. We do a sort of body scan. So if you can connect with, you start from your crown of your head, your forehead, your face, your ears. We go down to the neck, the shoulders. Connect and see if any of these body parts are wanting to tell you something. So we go down to the arms, the hands, fingers, and then we connect to our neck, our chest, our abdominal area, any organs. We can connect with our back, our lower back, our bum. Connect with our pelvic area, our vulva, any organs that are around, and then our legs, and we go down the thighs, we go down to the ankle and the feet and the toes. So as we keep breathing, we kind of like, again, have a few seconds to connect and listen and see if any of these body parts has a message for you today or wants to whisper or tell you something. And if you feel comfortable to share with us whenever you are ready.
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
All right. So I feel I should say vulva because it's a lot of the things that I talk about. But today, actually, it's my brain that's kind of saying, oh, Laura, I'm a little bit tired, so you need to rest the weekend. Isn't that interesting? Because I've had a busy couple of weeks with work.
Yeah.
So my brain is a little bit tired. But normally it would be very much the female reproductive system and all of that, because it's very much something that I like to talk about, given, I suppose, the shame around talking about it and the fact that women often don't connect with their pelvic health and their intimate health. Yeah. And they don't see it as important as, say, mental health or cardiovascular health, but it's just as important because it affects all quality of life, particularly as we get older. So, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. And this is interesting because a lot of the time we are always in our head, in our brain, and we plan and we don't really listen much to our body and the shame that we have in our brain, in our head, I guess, stops us from actually looking or listening or approaching our body, but especially our genital area. Yeah. I love that you talk about vulva. I, up until this year, have never really said the word out loud much, to be fair. I you know, when you learn the little nicknames when you are a kid, and then you kind of like, so I love the fact that you not only mention it, but you wrote a book about it and you do shows where you get people to really like talk about it.
Yeah, so interesting. And you know more than yourself. So I know that you grew up in Italy. I grew up in Ireland, Catholic country. But I think people in the UK, they have this too. Women's health wasn't really at the forefront, particularly our intimate health. You know, women gave birth and there was no care or consideration about their vaginal health, their pelvic floor health after that. And lots of women can experience issues such as incontinence, which is leaking, such as prolapse, which is where your pelvic organs fall into your vagina and give a dragging, heavy sensation, regular UTIs. There's so many things that can happen. So it's just really important that we do look after our intimate health.
100%. And why do you think that a lot of people don't know about all these things?
Because we were never taught. You know, we were never, you say nicknames, like I was never taught the proper name for my vulva either. Or what we do is we use the term vagina for the entire genital area of the female, when in actual fact there's the labia majora, minora, and the clitoris, clitoral hood, urethra, but we use the term vagina for that whole area, which is, the vagina is just the tunnel inside, actually. It's not even on the outside. And then I suppose we are in an era where young girls feel that it's necessary to just laser off all their pubic hair or wax off all their pubic hair. You know, pubic hair isn't there as a decoration, it's a function. It protects our vulval skin. It has a nice microbiome to keep the vulval skin healthy. It keeps us warm, and it protects us against friction during intercourse. But, you know, I did a talk for young girls, about 2,000 of them there last year, 16-year-olds. And I said to them, at this big arena, and I said to them, so girls, hands up who thinks that their pubic hair is unattractive. And the vast majority of them did. I said, who thinks they need to remove it? The vast majority of them did. Like, I'm talking like 99%. And they said, and what about boys? Should they remove their pubic hair? And nobody put up their hand. And then afterwards, the girls come up to me and said, I've never really thought about that inequality. Like, why are we telling girls and women to remove their pubic hair and look like prepubescent girls? And, you know, men can just do whatever they want. And this isn't a man versus woman conversation, but it is interesting how we tell women how their bodies should look, from their faces and Botox and fillers. And now, sure, there's vulval labiaplasty, there's vulval rejuvenation, vaginal rejuvenation, all of this. And it just goes back to us trying to pick holes in women's bodies in general, doesn't it? And telling them how that they should look. So I think it's important to plant the seed of doubt in young girls' minds. They're intelligent. We may not change it overnight, but certainly, you know, with Sex and the City in the 1990s, it became empowering and fashionable to take off all your pubic hair without actually any consideration given to its function. Yeah. And why do we think that it's more attractive to have our pubic hair removed? Like, pubic hair isn't dirty, but yet because we're growing up on a diet, because young kids are being educated through porn, really, about sex, and all they see is surgically altered, hairless women, they think they're broken if they look down and don't see that. Mm-hmm. And then boys think that women with hair are unnatural or even dirty. You know, I was talking to a woman there at one of the talks that I did, and she said her 20-something-year-old son came home one morning after having sex or being out with a girl. He goes, "Oh my goodness, Mum, she had like hair. Ugh." So, you know, boys think that, girls just want to make the boys happy.
Yeah.
So it's this vicious cycle of women thinking they have to alter their bodies in some way. No more than we think we have to lose weight, we have to look a certain way, we have to have big boobs, and
Totally. And we don't get taught how to listen to the body and how to actually understand the function, because our bodies are so wonderful and they're created not just to create, but like every bit of our body has a function, and there is a reason why it's there, why nature made us like that.
Of course.
And a lot of people don't even think that. They're just like, okay, I need to change myself because all the messages I get from the media is like, I have to change, I'm not good enough, I'm weak, I'm, you know.
But sure, even when you think about it, like the feminine freshness products, okay?
Oh yeah.
Right? So like Femme Fresh or whatever they're called. Making out that women's natural scent is not nice, you know. Douching disrupts your microbiome in your vagina. It can give you thrush or bacterial vaginosis. You know, I've never heard of a product called Willy Fresh. Have you?
No.
So why are we telling women that they should be smelling the roses down there? Like, we have our own unique scent. It changes throughout the month. It changes as we age. Like, it's just bizarre.
Yeah.
So I just want to change that. I just want women to know that their bodies are brilliant and beautiful. Sometimes they can go a little bit wrong, but there's always something out there that can fix it.
Yeah.
Or you can get help for any issue, and that there's no issue that is shameful enough to not go and get help with. So that's really my message
100%
behind it all.
Yeah. And it's all in this book, and I was reading it and I was like, yes, and this and that, and I was never like, I think this should be like material at school for people.
So many people have said that to me because it's beautiful illustrations as well, isn't it?
Let's see.
Yeah.
Like there are so many beautiful, can you see this illustration? Maybe we can show on.
Yeah.
Look at that. Like
real
so
bodies,
gorgeous.
real women. Like, it's so important. It was really important to me to have that. And then obviously it's not overly medicalized either.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. It's really easy to read, I think.
I love this. And actually, when did you realize there was the need of writing something like that?
So I, obviously working in the pharmacy for over 20 years, women were coming into me all the time with issues, and they'd be like, oh, I'm itchy down there, or I'm sore down there, or, you know, why has my libido gone? All of those kinds of things. But it was always in hushed conversations. But basically over COVID, I was posting videos online because my patients in the pharmacy couldn't come into me. And I was known as the pharmacist who would always talk about vaginas or menopause, or, you know, you could come to me with those female issues. They couldn't come in because the pharmacy was closed as such to customers apart from, so we were like delivering out the medicines and stuff that people weren't encouraged to come in. So I started posting videos online, and then it just went kind of viral. So my Instagram kind of took off overnight, and then I got asked to do some talks.
Okay.
So the first talk that I was asked to do was just like for a health and wellness business, and they said, you know, this was after COVID, they were opening up after COVID, and they had like 300 women that they wanted me to do a health and wellness talk for. And I said, well, what do you want me to talk about? And they said, oh, just anything, women's health. And I was like, God, how long is a piece of string? So as I was going down to the hotel that I was doing the talk in, I just said to myself, I want to make this interesting and engaging. And I'm going to talk about sex because I know that'll get everyone's attention. So I just went into the room and I said, my name's Laura, I'm a pharmacist, and I think the 5 main pillars of health are checking yourself, diet, sleep, exercise, and orgasms. And sure, I had the room then. They were like, what? So I related orgasms back to good intimate health, good sexual awareness health. And I got them, I had them then.
Yeah.
So, but afterwards, there was queues of women coming up talking to me because they said, I never heard anyone talking about that kind of thing, about like incontinence or prolapse.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've had incontinence for 15 years and I'm afraid, I'm too embarrassed to go to the doctor. Like, or anal itching, which can be caused by low vaginal estrogen as well, or hemorrhoids, things like that. So I was bringing up these topics. So then I was asked to do more talks around the country, and then I did talks for the likes of Amazon and Google and Pfizer. And one day I literally couldn't get out of the place because so many women wanted to talk to me after my talk. So I went home to my husband and I said, we need to do a show.
Yeah.
And that's where the show came from. So then I did this sellout tour around Ireland, where I went to like a few different locations in Ireland, and I ended in the National Concert Hall with like 2,400 women talking and laughing and joking and making it fun. So like dry vaginas aren't funny. Sure, they're not. Like, you don't want to know. But if you make it fun and humorous, and we had a comedian there, and we had a sexologist, and we just made it really interesting and inclusive. And then not everyone can come to the show.
Yeah.
So the book came from the show then. Because I was like, okay,
Okay.
we need to do this a little bit more in depth than we can in the show. And we need it to be accessible for everyone because not everyone can come to the show.
Yeah.
So that's really where the book came from. That was a very long answer. I'm sorry.
I love, because then you included already a few things I wanted to talk about and the show and how you really created a community online and offline all around female health, which is so, so necessary.
Yeah.
I love. Like,
Yeah.
well done. Honestly,
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. Like,
But, you know, I have an amazing team that do it with me. Like I have a group of girls that come on the tour with me. You know, we have a pelvic floor physio, Aoife Harvey. I have sexologists that come. I bring on comedians with me. I have Jennifer Rock. She talks about her own journey. So we really humanize it and make it about real women who can talk about endometriosis and all those things, you know, heavy periods and fibroids and that. So we make it interesting and very relatable to everyone, but also absolutely hilarious. Like people are just laughing.
Yeah.
As I said, the sexologist comes on with like a dildo, like a neck massager that size, and just has everyone in stitches. So it's just about making it really accessible. And I think that if you can make something that's not very nice funny, people remember it.
I understand why you say that this comes from it, because reading it, you actually have a giggle, and it's very accessible because it's like big text and you have different fonts.
Yeah,
and
people
it
say
is
to me,
really accessible. It's so fab.
People say to me, I love the font. I can read it without my glasses.
Exactly. I've never, like, after reading all the books with like small tests, this is like so with the drawings, like it's fab. It's super accessible and interesting, and it's so good. And also all these confession boxes that I hear.
They send those into me. So I do a confession box on my Instagram every Sunday. It's just called Confessions. And people write in the wildest things. So affairs, who's the baby daddy type stuff. I hate my mother-in-law type stuff. All kinds of interesting things, like my baby was sucking the toilet brush. I rolled over my dog and he's dead now, and I had to pretend to my kids that he went missing. Like,
oh my God.
Mad shit. And then, you know, I'm like, I'm having sex with my husband's brother. Like wild stuff, because it's all anonymous. And I just publish it. So I just put it up as an anonymous comment.
Right.
So, you know, on a Sunday, I'll easily get about 50,000 views on my stories every Sunday, because people they love it. And I actually get messages from people going like, when are you putting it up? When are you putting it up? I'm sitting here waiting for you to start the confessions. Or they'll sit in bed with their partner and they'll look at the confessions, and it's like a thing that people do. And men love it as well. Men are like, it's like, they get an insight into how female brains work.
Of course. That's incredible. That's incredible. It's gassed. And is there any of these confessions that taught you something that you didn't know?
So I'm telling you now, the confessions I've been doing for years. So they really were the thing that inspired me to do the content that I do, to do the show, to do, like, because when I was driving down to that show, so yes, I'd seen a lot of stuff in the pharmacy and women had often come to me, but I was online and people were messaging me DMs about all kinds of things that were going wrong. So really, all of that, between my work in the pharmacy and then my work online, and the confessions, which is a part of that work online, all informed me about the stuff that women, A, don't know about their bodies, B, want to know about their bodies, and C, should know about their bodies. So that's what inspired everything that I do now.
Yeah.
It's wild, really, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. But, you know, it's so funny because it seems like as if it's happened overnight, but it hasn't, because it's like 20 years of knowledge added on to like all the Instagram, social media stuff. But I suppose the Instagram, social media stuff made it happen so much quicker, because, and then you've access to hundreds of thousands of people online, as opposed to just, you know, your community of patients that are coming into the pharmacy to you. Yeah. So really interesting.
Yeah. No, social media amplifies something that already has a really good impact.
Yeah.
Otherwise we wouldn't, it doesn't always work if it, like, there isn't something at the base that is as strong. So you have the best of both worlds that kind of amplify each other.
And it's interesting because, like, sometimes I'll put up a post online, like, so I talked to you about anal itching there, and it's not that I'm obsessed with anal itching, but anal itching in perimenopause and menopause can be due to low vaginal estrogen, because you can get an itchy vagina with low vaginal estrogen, dryness, soreness, irritation. And actually that can happen the anal skin as well. And people don't ever link the two, or they don't. So they just think they treat themselves for worms, or else they just put pseudocreme on, think it's a dermatitis. They don't go and get help. So I put up a post online about anal itching, and it got just flagged by Instagram as, like, you know, whatever.
Like sexual.
Yeah, you couldn't put it up. So then I put it up again, the same thing, but I referred to the anus as the chocolate starfish. And I swear to God, like it's got millions of views. So many views that I republished it because people were just like, I never knew. So I've had like an itchy hole for years and I never knew that this was the reason why. And then people went to their GP, they got their vaginal estrogen or their estrogen cream. And within a couple of weeks or within like a few days, they're feeling the benefits of it. So like social media, I know there's a lot of people giving out about it and I know that there's a lot of misinformation, but if you're following the right accounts, you can really, really get help because some GPs don't even know how to treat people. They just, they're trying to keep up with everything new as well. And the menopause space has opened up so much in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
There are GPs that I know they just feel like they've had whiplash with it because they were following a certain guidelines.
100%.
Now they've all changed and it's difficult, I suppose, for them. And particularly if they don't have the interest. Like you have to have the interest in it.
100%.
So I think sometimes women really do get a raw deal when it comes to their health because if they don't go to an expert who knows exactly what to look for and the symptoms to, look out for, then they're probably getting substandard care, suboptimal care, and they don't even know.
Yeah, 100%. I have PCOS and I went to the GP to ask for help. I went in here in the UK and then privately in Italy. And actually the old white hair man was like, didn't even ask me anything about me. I sat down, I was like, I think I have PCOS. And he's like, PCOS is this thing that does this, that. Do you want kids? No. The only solution is the pill. And I'm like, you didn't even ask me about my life, like nothing. And I was shocked.
And there are things that lifestyle wise that you can do that will help with PCOS. But, but this needs to be talked. You need to be told this in a sensitive way by someone who knows what they're talking about.
Exactly.
So if they kind of brush you off and don't even refer you to a specialist, like you're not getting the care that you need. And the thing about it is the human female body, it is a wondrous thing, and it's a little bit, there's a little bit more plumbing in there than in the male body.
Yes.
So, and there's a lot of things that can go a bit wonky. So it's just so important that we get the care. I've seen girls, and I've had friends who just like their periods were so bad and so heavy they used to faint in school, but it was just like shrugged off as in, oh, there's Jen, she has a heavy period. As opposed to years later and years she was diagnosed with endometriosis.
Yeah.
So it takes on average 8 to 10 years for a woman to be diagnosed with endometriosis. So she goes through her whole teens in pain. It can affect her fertility. Like there's so much to it.
I know, it's crazy. I also was shocked. My mom told me for the first time, we never talked about periods, we never talked about anything intimate. She told me that she discovered she had endometriosis when she went to have an operation and closed her fallopian tubes or something. She was probably in her 40s. She said, I found out that my 20 years of pain was because I had endometriosis and I had no idea. And I'm like,
and endometriosis, it isn't just a disease of the uterus and ovaries. It can go in your bowel, it can go in your eyes, your brain. Women have lost organs as a result of it, or parts of their organs. It can actually travel anywhere. So even though it is often thought of as only in the pelvic area, it can actually be anywhere, and women are left in absolute agony.
Yeah.
They go for operations that don't work. Like it's terrible.
that is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and
1 in 10 women will suffer from endometriosis. That's like 10% of women, and it's it is just when you think about the percentages and the statistics, and then the school days lost, the work days lost, the mental health that it can cause, the fertility that it can, fertility issues that it can cause. It's crazy.
But then you don't talk about these things at home. You don't talk about these things anywhere. You are afraid and ashamed to talk about it with your friends, and you get isolated. And until you find something like this or your profile or something that actually open your mind to like a whole new.
Yeah.
Incredible. But what about your own body and your own relationship with these topics? Like, did you start opening your view when you were studying to become a pharmacist or before? Like, how did you get into the topic?
My mum was a midwife, okay? So,
there you go.
She was always very open about bodies. Now, not as much as me. Like, sometimes when I started on this whole journey, even she'd be like, Jesus, Laura, like, I mean, do you really need to go? Do you really need to go there? But for her time, like growing up in I grew up in the 1980s, she was ahead of her time, so she would always, like, she would have even talked about the fact that, when she was pregnant with my youngest brother, she was sitting there having contractions on the couch. She'd be like, oh, there's a little pain. Oh, time that contraction. Like, it was never a big deal. Or when she was breastfeeding, it was just, you were just breastfeeding. I grew up around all my aunties, my cousins breastfeeding. So when I had my babies, breastfeeding was just the norm.
Okay, yeah.
Whereas I think that, you know, we're trying to push women into breastfeeding now without the support. You know, none of their family did it. They don't know how to do it. It's not something that you're not born knowing how to breastfeed. It's a learned skill. And it's also a skill that you do when you see other women doing it. So if you have grown up and you haven't even witnessed it, it's difficult.
Yeah.
And then when you're not given any support either. So I've gone down a complete tangent there. But so growing up, I suppose I was probably in a more open household about bodies, but we weren't walking around naked or anything like the Swedes. No, we weren't doing that. But my mum was definitely the type of mum that you could talk to about anything, although I probably didn't talk to her about like loads of stuff, but I always knew that she was there. Bodies were never shameful.
Right.
You know, she was always talking about healthy eating. I never heard my mother ever say the word diet. I never heard her comment on her weight. We never had a weighing scales in the house. It was always about healthy eating or not eating sweets to not rot your teeth. It was a very body positive house.
Right. Yeah.
Which is fantastic. So, and then I went to pharmacy school, obviously, and I learned a lot of academic knowledge in pharmacy school in Trinity. But in terms of dealing with patients, it wasn't very patient focused. I think it's all changed now. But it was when I came out into pharmacy, into the community pharmacy, and was working and meeting women every single day and understanding where their needs were not being met.
Yeah.
That's where I learned the most. Because in actual fact, I didn't really like working in the back end of the pharmacy, which was, you know, checking the meds and putting them into the boxes and all that. I loved being out on the floor talking to people, and that's where I learned everything that I know now.
I see.
So it's down to my patients that I'm doing all this.
Yeah, you learned a lot from them as well.
Oh yeah, just talking to them. Like you learn so much from people when you listen and don't just talk.
Yeah, 100%.
Although I'm doing a lot of talking now today, but you know,
well, you're
I
also
could also
listening.
sit and listen to you.
No. I mean, I'm loving listening to you right now. This makes me think that actually, I guess you creating your own brand that is like female care and supplements comes from listening to your customers and the clients of the pharmacy. And I also love, I can't remember where I found information, but that you also were interested in Ayurvedic practices and in the Eastern medicine, and you went beyond the traditional pharmaceutical knowledge that maybe you got in school, but you went beyond. And you said it somewhere online that you were recommending herbs and mixtures and things that were like beyond. They're more like closer to nature and closer to knowing your body from a different perspective from the Western medicine. So I love the fact that through listening, you actually created your own brand that helps further people to look after themselves.
Yeah, well,
how did that come about?
That came about because when I was in college first, university, I went and travelled to India for a holiday.
Okay.
And I absolutely fell in love with it. So I started doing yoga. I went to an Ayurvedic practitioner. I loved the fact that they blend. So you go to an Ayurvedic practitioner, they don't just spend 5 minutes with you. They spend 2 hours. They take a full history.
Right.
They check your body. They will send you off with prescribed foods and meal plans and herbs and spices that will suit your constitution.
Wow.
So it's very much taken into account the whole body. So I loved that. So I returned to India a few times actually. Then I went and got into traditional Chinese medicine. So I studied that. And then so that was all towards the end of my university years and then my first couple of years in pharmacy. And when I was in pharmacy, I came out in 2003. And that was 2 years after the Women's Health Initiative study, which linked HRT to breast cancer.
Right.
Erroneously so, and it's since been refuted. But as a result, the first 10 years that I came out as a practicing pharmacist, there was very few prescriptions for HRT being written. Very few.
Right.
Because people thought they were going to get cancer. So what happened was women were taken off HRT or else they were not prescribed it at all. So there was an entire generation of women that missed out on HRT. So I had these women coming into the pharmacy not knowing why they wanted to fucking stab their husband for just breathing in the same room as them, why they were so irritable with their children, why they'd put on weight, why they weren't feeling themselves. And I had nothing to give them. So because I knew and had studied traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, I knew that there were some herbs and some mushrooms that could help them along with some vitamins. So I would send them around to the health food shop with the list as long as my arm for ingredients. And they'd come into me with their bags. And then they'd be like, oh, can I take it with this medicine? Can I take it with that medicine? And I developed an amazing relationship with the health food store. So the health food store would often send people around to me if they bought things in the health food store to say, I'm on this medicine. Can I take this product with it? So we developed this lovely relationship. So it got me thinking that, you know, people were coming out with bags of things. I said, I could formulate them because I was good at pharmaceutical chemistry and pharmaceutics. I was like, I know if I got into your lab and started mixing things together, I could really do a good job. So that's really where it came out of.
Okay.
So that's what I did for like 12 years on my days off and in the evening times. And I was researching and doing all kinds of work in the lab on my products. So it took about 10 to 12 years to bring it to market. I wanted to have it right, nearly caused a divorce, but we got there in the end. So that's where the brand came from. So my first products were like for immune support and energy, and then, you know, rest and relaxation and stress. And then I brought out my menopause product, my Meno and Peri, and it just went through the roof. So women got it. They told their friends how much they got on with it, and it just organically just is and that's the best type of marketing, word of mouth. I didn't have to spend a penny on it, apart from I did do a little bit of like, you know, funny marketing, as in putting on a Wonder Woman outfit and walking down the main street in Dublin, but I'd no budget. So that's really where the brand kind of came from. And then now I have the intimate wellness range, because obviously I talk a lot about vaginas and vulvas and dry vaginas and, you know, things that can happen in women as they get older. So I have a lubricant, a water-based lubricant now, and then a vaginal dryness ovule.
I think is this one now.
Yes, that's like a little, it's only got 6 ingredients in it, and it's like it's got hyaluronic acid, it's got beautiful ingredients just to help to treat vaginal dryness, not in a non-hormonal way. So it treats vaginal dryness, restores the pH, and also just gives you comfort and care. So you can use it for like 7 nights in a row, and then you can drop it down to twice weekly. But it's a beautiful product. Just moisturizes inside the vagina, melts into it overnight, and then if there's anything left over, you can just rub it on the outside lips then in the morning time. But it's absolutely fantastic. So,
well, if anyone is interested, Fabu, and it's for vagina, and you said that it's like going through the roof, that one. It's quite
so I only
popular.
released that. So that's my new product. It took me fucking years to get it right. As in, like, just like there's lots of regulatory constraints when it comes to that, because it's a medical device. It's going into your body. It's really important that it's right. But it took me so long, and I never thought it would get to. It would happen. And then, you know, the way sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, right, okay, so it's here. So I wasn't even excited when it came. And then I just launched it a couple of weeks ago, and sure, sales have gone through the roof. Yeah.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. I thought it was going to be the lube that was going to go through the roof. And the lube is very popular, but it's actually the vaginal dryness ovules that are really popular, because you can use it with your vaginal estrogen if you need to, or else it's non-hormonal. So women that don't want to use vaginal estrogen can use it too. So yeah, so it's brilliant. So it's just interesting, isn't it, how you just don't know.
Yeah, and then you listen, and then you get out the product.
If you listen to people, and that's what I'd say to anyone who's trying to start a brand, or like if there's a gap in the market that you see and you listen to people, you'll get it right, so long as you're willing to put in the work.
And when did you launch the Fabu?
Fabu was launched in June, the June bank holiday weekend of 2022.
Okay.
So it's only 3.5 years old. Yeah.
Beautiful.
But we're in 1,500 pharmacies and health food stores across Ireland. Yeah, we've got a great online business, and this year now we're trying to kind of really make inroads into the UK. So we're in about 100 pharmacies around the greater London area.
Right.
But I'd love to get established in the UK in a nice way. So that's just about, I suppose people need to get to know me, get to know the brand, trust me, trust the brand. But if the Irish are anything to go by, they'll love it. The UK ladies and men will love it as well.
Fab. And how do you get into the UK market? Like, if anyone is listening that has contacts, like, what does it need? What do you need?
Do you know what? It just needs brand presence, really. And what it needs probably is, because, you know, I'm just an Irish pharmacist. I'm not known over here.
Just an Irish pharmacist.
When I launched my brand, I did have an Instagram page, and people knew me in Ireland. So it was probably easier to do it. So you can't just say, oh, I did well in Ireland, I'm going to do well in the UK.
Right.
Well, I suppose UK people, they speak differently to Irish people. They have a different maybe sense of humour.
Right.
So people need to get to know me and the brand and trust me. And
trust. I was about to say the trust.
So it's about us trying to establish a good online presence in the UK, as well as in the retail space too. Okay. So we're talking to a couple of retailers. We are, but these things always, you think you're talking to a retailer, I have a meeting next week, but that meeting next week, there could be another meeting then in 6 months' time, and then another meeting in a year's time. It really just depends. And you know, the supplement market is a saturated market, but my products are very, very different. And that's why I brought them out. They're formulated by me. There's nothing like them on the market. They're very different with the functional blends, the functional mushroom blends, the botanicals as well. So I didn't just want to white label a product that was just, you know, same as something else. So, but I'm convinced once people use them and try them, they will absolutely love them. Because
Yeah.
I did actually a panel with 100 UK women, and they all got 3 months supply of the Men on Perry, and they
Right.
loved it. And I got their testimonials. And
Amazing.
yeah, so it's about establishing those relationships and meeting people like you.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Amazing.
it's
Well,
interesting, isn't it?
yes, it is. It's actually super exciting also to hear like the different stages of a business and what people
Yeah.
need, because like you see a brand and you think, oh, they have it all sorted, but everyone
my
behind the
gosh.
scenes still like working
Sorry,
through.
I'd be the first one to say I don't have a fucking clue what I'm doing. Any morning when I knew this morning when I was doing, because I had to get on a flight to the UK. But and you never feel you're doing enough.
Yeah.
And you reach a milestone and then you see another problem. So it's like whack-a-mole. You always feel like you're just firefighting.
Yeah. So this is the reality behind the brand. So
Yeah.
you need to listen, but also it's a constant
A constant hustle.
hustle.
Yeah. But if you don't find the hustle a hassle, then it's okay. If you kind of like that game.
Yeah.
No, it's nice. And I get to meet so many people. Like, look who I'm meeting you and chatting away. And so, yeah, it's lovely.
I know, I agree. It's also why I do this podcast. The same thing, to listen to other people's other realities, learn and see if I can like share some of this knowledge with people and make the world a better place. I mean,
Yeah, I
sometimes we just want to do that. Let us just do that.
I know. God, the world seems so messed up at the minute as well. It's nice to just talk about,
Yeah.
nice things as well, isn't it?
Things. What else is on this table? You brought us different. What is this?
So, okay. So that is a pelvic ring. So that is like a silicone pessary ring. So basically, do you remember I was telling you about prolapse?
Yeah.
So prolapse
the
is
uterus.
where
I saw the
the uterus,
drawing
yeah.
yesterday.
So the uterus, the bowel, and the bladder are held up by pelvic floor muscles. So pelvic floor muscles.
It's this
is a-
one.
Yes. So
Oh.
yeah, that's it there. So the pelvic floor muscles are a band of muscles, like a hammock at the base of the pelvis. So they hold in place our uterus, our bowel, and our bladder, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when a baby is pushed through the pelvic floor muscles, they tend to slacken. And they can weaken the pelvic floor muscles. And as we age as well, regardless of whether we've had a baby or not, and our estrogen levels decline, the pelvic floor can slacken, but also our vaginal walls can kind of slacken a bit. They can thin out because of lower collagen production and that. And as a result, the uterus, the bowel, the bladder can bulge into the vagina, giving a dragging and a heavy sensation. So these
Right.
pessary rings can just be popped up into the vagina like
Right.
that and hold everything up like a scaffolding of a ceiling. And it can make women much more comfortable. It means they can maybe exercise where they wouldn't have been able to before. It means they can, enjoy their lives. And the thing about intimate health, and this is why I go on about it, we're telling women that in order to live a full and healthy and independent life and be able to do their own grocery shopping when they're older, tie their own shoelaces, wipe their own backside, they need to exercise now to move their muscles and joints.
Yeah.
But women can't exercise if they're leaking, if they have pain or discomfort due to prolapse, if they have regular UTIs.
Yeah.
That's why pelvic health is so important. But that's why these pessary rings can really help women to feel a little bit more comfortable so they can lift those weights, they can do those exercises. So that's why I would say to women, if their quality of life is being affected in any way by their pelvic area, it's not a case of just put up and shut up. And it goes similarly with urinary tract infections. So a lot of women will experience urinary tract infections due to low estrogen levels
Okay.
as they get older. And particularly with lots of older, vulnerable women, in their 60s, 70s, 80s even, and they will experience regular UTIs. And a regular UTI is 3 a year. So that's not very much when you consider the amount of women that will get maybe 5 and 6 a year.
Yeah.
They're on this constant cycle of pain. They get delirium as well if they're that bit older, maybe a bit Alzheimer's or dementia there. Pain, delirium, then they're given an antibiotic, and then it's just this constant cycle. But if they were on vaginal estrogen, which is like a form of cream or a pessary up into the vagina, that can totally negate those, because the vaginal estrogen can really help alleviate and prevent urinary tract infections, because the estrogen just dissipates across the vagina into the pelvic, into the bladder, the urethra, and it prevents them. But women aren't being given the vaginal estrogen, so they're just being given antibiotic after antibiotic. So we need there to be more awareness about women's health
Right.
overall.
Yeah. I mean, I know exactly one person, I'm not going to say anything, that has exactly what you just said. And it's antibiotics after antibiotics.
Yeah.
I've never heard them being aware of that. So
No,
I'm
and
gonna-
it's I'd say if you brought it up with the doctors might even go, what?
Yeah.
Because it's just not something that's mainstream. But I guarantee you, and I hope in the future, every woman will be going into the coffin with a vaginal estrogen inside her vagina because there will be preventative programs. But it's about getting women on the vaginal estrogen young. So it's about getting them in there when they're like in their perimenopause or menopause years, so they're used to it. Because, if you consider it, if there's a woman in a nursing home and she's a little bit delirious, and she's never even talked about her vagina, and then suddenly you have someone trying to insert a vaginal estrogen, that could be traumatic for her.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is we need to educate women now and young girls now. And I know you said you're only 37, but at least when you're 47 and you get a few urinary tract infections in a year, you might go to yourself, actually, I remember Laura saying, this isn't normal. I shouldn't be accepting this.
Yeah.
Maybe I need some vaginal estrogen. So it's about educating ourselves now for the future. Yeah.
Love that. I love this. Like this. But so is that ring part of your brand, or is it something?
No. So this is this would have to be fitted. So they have to be fitted by a pelvic floor physio. So I always say to women, the best money they can spend on themselves after having a baby, or else when they get into menopause, is going to a pelvic floor physio.
Right.
Because they will examine the inside of your vagina. They'll be able to tell you whether or not there's a bit of weakness there. If you're leaking, they'll be able to give you exercises. They'll be able to recommend vaginal estrogen. Yeah. Maybe fit you with a pessary ring if you do have a prolapse, and just give you that better quality of life. But the vast majority of women do not see a pelvic floor physio unless they have like a third-degree tear from giving birth, right? But in France, you've access to free physio for 6 months after giving birth. They really take vaginas very seriously over there. Whereas I know in Ireland, and I don't think in England, I think England's the same, they just don't. You're just giving your baby, told do a few squeezy exercises and off you go. So women need to kind of take their health into their own hands in that way. They probably have to pay privately for it. Now, I think it's about £100 to see a pelvic floor physio, and that could be the best £100 you spend on yourself, because they'll give you the exercises. As I said, they'll tell you what you need to do. And then as a result, if you're looking after your intimate health when you're younger, you'll have a much better prognosis when you're older.
Yeah. Fantastic. You heard this now here, maybe for the first time, but wow.
I know, and some young women might switch off hearing that's never going to happen to me, but you'd be surprised how quickly it creeps up. Yeah. And it isn't just women that have babies. I need to make that really clear.
Yeah.
Once our estrogen levels drop, and our pelvic region is a hub of estrogen receptors that's so used to being fed estrogen, and once they drop, it just fucking goes to loads of things can happen. So anything from vaginal dryness to sexual discomfort to regular urinary tract infections, prolapse, pain, painful sex, irritations, infections, and you name it. So it's not normal to put up with that, and there is help out there if you just go and get it.
Amazing.
So that's what really all the fanny talk is about.
Well, it's not finished yet because we have other things. I want more funny talk. Look at this. I love it. Ooh, there is.
Did I put something in there? Sorry, I think I put my yes, I put my hair bobbin in there.
That kind of.
But your hair bobbin isn't actually supposed to go into your vagina unless you wanted to.
I love it. Wondrous vulva puppet.
Yeah, so I had to import that from the North America actually.
Okay.
See, that's what's this here?
No, okay.
Tell me
This is
what
the
that
clit. This is the clit.
Yes.
This is
clitoral hood.
Hood. Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Did you know that the clitoris is the only organ in the human body, either male or female, that is designed purely for pleasure?
I do, but I think a lot of people don't. And this is incredible news as well.
And women do not need penetration to orgasm.
Yeah.
They just need a little rub.
A little rub.
Rub.
And then we have I kind of I was restudying the vagina from your drawings from your book. So I kind of remember. The only thing I didn't know, I know the labia majora, labia minora, and then this is the Mount,
Mons.
Venus Mount, no?
Yeah.
Something like the Monte di Venere. And then what I didn't know about, though, that I discovered reading your book is the glands. They have 2 glands at the bottom and 2 at the top, near the urethra.
Skenes and the Bartholian, yeah.
Wow.
And they can lead to, what's colloquially called squirting, but, really squirting is this myth that porn has, some women will squirt. Sometimes it's a little bit of urine leakage but then, you've pornos basically making out women are squirting all over the place, but maybe they have a bottle of water behind the camera squirting out. We need to be realistic here. And that's why I said it's so dangerous having our young people be educated via
Through
porn,
porn.
because they think that they're doing it wrong if they don't squirt, or you know,
Yeah.
look, I'm not even going to get into the violence that's depicted
No,
in
exactly,
pornography either, but
exactly.
like, it's just, we need to be talking to our children really, like,
Yeah.
and you can't assume, oh, my children, I'm going to ruin their innocence if I start talking to them about it. I can guarantee you, say the first time, there's statistics out there that say the first time children are witnessing porn now is like the age of 10 or 11.
Yeah.
They're seeing it because of phones. And not necessarily, you can say, well, my child doesn't have a phone, but you can be guaranteed
Their friends do.
one of their friends does.
100%. I was at the conference maybe 2 years ago. I don't know if you know Cindy Gallup. She created this thing called Make Love Not Porn. It's basically education through porn, but ethical porn and just kind of like informed porn, like female-made porn. And she had a panel, and there was a young guy there as well. And they were saying how much educating young boys is so important, because they are the ones that then cause a lot of the unconsensual. I mean, of course, educating young women as well, but
So educating young women to know that they don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But women think young girls think that's expected of them. Sure, now
Yeah.
they're saying like choking apparently is just this thing now that young
my
ones
God,
do,
yeah.
because they're seeing it in porn. And porn just gets more and more violent, because it's like, you know, whereas before, say in the 1950s, sure, you'd hardly have seen any more than one naked person in your life. And that would have been your partner, your life partner probably. And now it's so available. So it's now what is going to cause the most clicks. So it's the violence and that.
Yeah.
So young boys think, like you've cases where young boys think it's normal to be violent when they're making love or having sex with someone.
Yeah.
And they're bewildered then when the girl is upset.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, sorry, that's what all the girls in porn seem to love this.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? So
have shivers.
we need to be talking to our young ones. We really do. Now, and you can do it in an age appropriate way, but you need to be having that conversation about consent.
Yeah.
You're telling kids that porn is not the way
Yeah.
normal people, if there is such a term as normal
Yeah.
people, but it isn't. That is not what people do in loving relationships.
Yeah. And also protection using condoms. You also probably mentioned here the fact that like a lot of, because in porn you don't use it, so people that think that it's not, you don't have to, and then there is
I'm now in the business of throwing out condoms in the pharmacy that went out of date, because people just didn't
really.
They just didn't use them. Like, it was a thing that they would use, yes, years ago, but now people just don't use condoms. Yeah, because of the pill, maybe because of. A lot of them think that the withdrawal method will work, but they don't really think about STIs. But sure, STIs are on the increase now. It could be that there being more testing done too, but there's loads of outbreaks of STIs, and it isn't just in younger populations. Like, there's chlamydia outbreaks in various regions in Ireland and the UK, and a lot of it is midlife people that are maybe coming out of a marriage. They're going on Tinder, they're having the time of their lives, but they're not using protection because they don't think because they can't get pregnant.
Of course.
So people need to really mind themselves. Yeah.
Wow. I love this. I want it as on my pillow.
I know, it's lovely. Well, actually, I did a talk once and they said that looks like a pair of slippers. You know, you could actually maybe I'll make vulva slippers. What do you think?
Yeah, I would totally buy them. Please do them. Yes. Actually, talking about what else you can make, what's the future of Laura, of your businesses, of your...
I don't know. I suppose I love educating women about their health, and men. Like, men are very much an important part of this conversation. They really are, because they love us. They want the best for us. They have mothers, they have partners, they have daughters, they have friends. So it's bringing everyone into the conversation. So the future for me, oh my goodness, maybe more shows. Mm-hmm. I'm always working on some product in the background.
Yeah.
Maybe another book, maybe a book aimed more for younger girls. Who knows?
That would be amazing.
The future is open. I'm a bit tired at the minute though, but certainly, my little brain doesn't ever stop thinking. So yeah, who knows?
And how would you help your brain to rest?
Well, I have ADHD, right? So I only diagnosed in recent years, which actually explains an awful lot about my younger years. Yeah. So how do I do it? I exercise. That really helps me. And I've always loved exercise. So now I realised I was getting my dopamine hit through exercise. Right. Sometimes I find it difficult. I do try and write lists, but generally my list is 25 things long, and then I get 3 marked off and then feel guilty afterwards at the end of the day. So I'll just sometimes collapse on the couch and just sleep for an afternoon. So
Yeah.
getting to bed early really helps. Getting a good night's sleep really helps.
Yeah.
And exercise really helps.
Yeah.
And trying to not front load my diary.
Yeah.
Saying no to things that
Yeah.
aren't necessary. I find that really important because it's particularly if you're trying to establish yourself in a business, you sometimes feel I need to take advantage of every opportunity and every request to do something,
Yeah.
to do either a talk or a podcast or something. But I think sometimes you need to just go, actually, is this a valuable way for me to spend my time, or will this deplete me?
Yeah.
So I'm getting better at that.
Yeah. Oh my God, this hits so hard. I also have been diagnosed with ADHD a few months ago, and I totally like tick, tick, tick. I have the same. I had to create a document that is called my external brain and put a to-do list like Easy Infinite. So I can give myself the option to just put it out there, but I am just allowed to pick 3 things to do every day as a priority. And then when I do those 3 things, I can say to myself, okay, I've done enough.
Yeah, okay.
I never do that, but I aim to do that
Yeah.
as well. So I totally understand. I totally hear you. So exercise, I love dance. So I go regularly, like just moving my body and listening to my body like that.
Yeah,
But
well, you're getting your dopamine hit.
I've got, yeah, exactly.
But also, it's interesting for you now. So if you've been diagnosed, so our estrogen levels are directly related to our dopamine levels. So sometimes women will go through life, well, they're able to mask their ADHD, but they'll go through life and they'll be fine. There may be some ADHD traits, but they're not like totally overtaking their life. Then they hit perimenopause, and because of the hormonal fluctuations, it tips them over the edge, and they're like full blown ADHD. So that's something for women to actually think about as well, because it can often just be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and you just find yourself being really feeling like as if you're drowning. So it's important to kind of recognize that.
Thank you. That's
I have a
super
Fabu
helpful.
Focus brain product as well, which is like, it's got your amino acids in it, and it has your lion's mane mushroom and your vitamins and minerals as well. So it's really good for your brain health too. So like, I suppose every product that I've brought out has really been as a result of, say, my personal knowledge, and then obviously things that I see in the pharmacy every day. So yeah, it's interesting.
Amazing. Thank you. I will check it out. Wow, thank you. So much. Wow, I'm so excited. There are so many things that then this conversation has just opened me to think about. And I'm sure a lot of people that are watching us or listening to us are in the same. I don't want to leave this anymore. Laura, I would carry on talking to you for so many hours. We unfortunately need to wrap up.
No problem.
Soon. But I invite you to do another little breath exercise. So we finally just like
sit back now.
just, So yeah, and then we talk about where can people find you. But let's just like relax back into our bodies and see where we're at. So just to wrap up, let's all just sit back and relax for a second, and we do 3 breaths like the beginning. So let's do it together if we can. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold. And exhale for 8. Inhale for 4. Hold. Exhale slowly. And last one, inhale for 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, and 8. How are you feeling? How's your body feeling?
Oh, it feels great. I want to go home for a sleep now.
How's your brain? Is there any other parts of the body that want to finish off or meaning?
No,
like
I feel that
saying-
was really cathartic. I just had like a therapy session there.
Laura, thank you so much. It has been such a beautiful conversation, full of insights, full of, I don't know if it's love, but it's like really self-love, I think.
Yeah.
So thank you. I'm sure this will be life-changing for a lot of people that will see their bodies or some of their symptoms, but also their relationship with themselves in a different way.
I hope so.
Thank you so much for everything you share with
So
us
welcome.
today.
No problem.
For the work you do online, offline, in your life. And yeah, where can people find you?
So I'm mainly on Instagram
Yeah.
at Fabulous Pharmacist.
Yeah.
And my website is fabuwellness.com. So
Yeah.
FABUWELLNESS.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, so come over and say hi to me and we'll have a bit of fun. I like to have a bit of fun on my page as well.
Yeah.
Make people laugh, as well as giving them informative videos
Yeah.
they can really kind of understand. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it works because information, education, and entertainment all together is basically the golden rule. So you're smashing it like full throttle. Lol.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna add all these details in the show notes so everyone can look up and then find Laura and engage and follow her and go to one of the shows. I can't wait for your next show to just come.
You're gonna have to come.
Please,
You're gonna have to come. You're gonna have to come. Brilliant.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you.
you.
Mwah.